Hi, everybody. This is Latasha calling, Next Level Life Coaching, your one-on-one life coach tailor-made just for you. Today is Monday, and we're going live. I go live every Monday at 9 and Fridays at 9. Now, I'm going to do something a little different today because Friday, if you joined me live, I had some technical difficulties. So at the end of the tape, maybe the last 5 to 8 minutes, you could not understand one thing I was saying. And it was so disturbing because I felt at that point what I was trying to get across was really, really important and really, really for you. And that's why I had interference, because I felt like, the enemy just doesn't want me to get this message out. So I'm going to do something different. I've never done. I took down those particular videos. So you can't view them, but if you are my subscriber, they were already probably sent to you, so you probably could listen to some of it. But like I said, at the end, you cannot understand a thing that I'm saying. So I've decided to talk about the same thing today, and that's cycles. We're going to talk about bad cycles in our life. And if you listen to the first one, still listen to this one, because whenever I deliver stuff, I do make notes, but it's really, really from what God truly gives me. So I just really talk, and I let the God just lead me in what to say. And I just want to encourage you tonight about your bad cycle. Okay. So with that being said, this is Bad Cycles Reloaded. So sit back and just listen. And I want to know tonight, are you sitting in a bad cycle? Are you looking for change in your life? I know I am. I'm looking for change. And not only am I looking for it, but I'm working for change in my life right now at this point. I'm working for it, and I am achieving change in my life right now. And I'm gonna be the first to tell you, it's not always comfortable to have change in your life, even if it's for the best, because it's like growing pains in that, and you're like, wow, this is truly work. And it's not just work when you begin to change, it's work throughout your change, because it's how can I put this? It's a really something in you that wants to go back sometimes to your old bad habits, because you were comfortable there. You've been there for years. Even though you had desire to get out of it, it was still familiar. It was a place that you knew. So you may still have a desire to go back, but you have to push forward. If you want change in your life, you have to push forward through your bad cycle. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. And that's what I'm here to encourage you to do. Because if you're looking for life-changing things and life-changing events in your life, you must stop the bad cycle in your life. So, like I always say, I'm a definition girl, and I'm going to break it down. So, the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is the definition of a cycle, which, it seems easy and simple, and you know what it means. But once you hear this definition, we can break it down and we can talk further. So, okay, basically, a cycle is a set of events in the same order, okay? And it's repeating the same series of events, repeating the same thing over and over. A cycle goes around. See, like that? It goes around and around. So it keeps repeating itself, round and around. So when you're in a bad cycle, when you start here, you go all the way around to there. That means you're starting right back where you started. And that's what's wrong with a bad cycle. A bad cycle doesn't take you anywhere. You start back where you started, but within that cycle, you get the same kind of events going on that are negative. Okay, you start. Maybe sometimes it may even start positive, the cycle. But once it takes full circle, it ends up negative. And you're like back at the same point before it was even positive, if that makes any sense. You just don't get the results that you need and that you want in your life to create change at all. Results where you're being who God created you to be. So that's why the cycle is so bad. So, your cycle, we're here tonight to interrupt that cycle. Interrupt that cycle means wherever you are right now, wherever you stand at right now in your bad cycle, we're here to just stop right there in the midst of that cycle. And you're like, nope, I'm not going to go any further in this cycle. So we're going to interrupt that cycle tonight. Your cycle, my cycle, our cycle. It's going to be interrupted tonight through learning, self-discovery, pulling things out, understanding where you truly are and where you truly need to go. That's what interrupts the cycle. Having the knowledge and to understand what's truly going on in your cycle and taking a look around and realizing this is not where I want to be. Having the end in mind when you start. So you know that cycle you're at, you have to realize where you want to be. And then we make plans on how to get there. And I know that it's harder than what it sounds, but it's totally, totally, totally possible, okay? So the first thing is that cycle that you're going round and round, it's not progress. Did you know that? It's not progress at all. So you have to learn how to stop going round and round in the same cycle, okay? Because it's not progress because of the fact that you're not going forward. Remember, progress is moving ahead, moving forward in life. And that cycle is not moving ahead. You're actually going round and round, and it seems like you're going somewhere, but you're going absolutely nowhere. See, it's an illusion that you're going somewhere, but you're going absolutely nowhere because that's what the enemy wants. The enemy wants you to think that you're getting somewhere and you're not getting anywhere at all. So that's why it's so dangerous to be in a bad cycle. You know, for instance, with me in my life, I just had to just stop and realize, okay, why am I not where I want to be? You know, as far as my calling in God, as far as me doing what He wanted me to do. And my cycle was that I would be doing great, doing what I need to be doing, moving forward in Him. But it was always a point where something would happen in my life and it would take over all my attention. And it would make me feel so down, so depressed, so worthless. So it would stop me in my tracks. You hear me? So I could not go any further in where God wanted me to go because right then I would feel like everything is just over. I don't have any strength to move forward. I can't do anything. And so I would stop the progress that I made. And I would not go any further, and I would be like, okay, well, maybe I can't really do this. Maybe I can't really speak. I can't really teach. I can't really promote this book. You know, all the things that God has for me to do, I couldn't do them because my cycle was I would get so far in progression and walking with the Lord and doing what I was supposed to do, and then I would be plagued with low self-esteem. I would be plagued with depression, and that will just hinder me and stop me. And then I will stop for an amount of time, amount of period, and then I will start back up. So I will keep stopping and stop back up. And so what that did is it took momentum from me. It took time from me. You hear? And time is precious. And my momentum to move forward, that was so precious. But I didn't realize that. I did not stay focused. I did not stay focused. And that was my problem. I started focusing on the storm that's all around me. Just like in the Bible, when they had the storm. And they were focusing on the storm instead of focusing on God and what God had for them to do. So that's what I would always do. And then that would it would hinder my work. It would stop me. And I would be so much further if I had just stopped that cycle earlier. But what I've learned though, no matter how I feel, no matter what emotions come over me, sadness, sickness, pain, hurt, tiredness, defeat, rejection, It doesn't matter what comes over me. I'm still going to go forward. I'm still going to continue every day doing something towards what God has for me. So I had to make that up in my mind that I was going to do that. So that was a negative cycle that I stopped. And so I'm leaning on progression now. Every day I just move forward. And every day I feel fulfilled and I feel better when I'm moving forward. Thing I needed to stop the cycle was what I did not have. See, it was robbing me of my fulfillment, that cycle. So once I started doing what God had for me to do and moving forward, instead of going round and round in that negative cycle, then that gave me the strength to have progression. So when that depression tried to go on, or when the things happened in my life that I could no longer handle, I could still move forward because I was still focused. And I understood what the enemy was trying to do in my life. He was trying to take my calling away, my worth away, and what I truly needed to do in God. So I no longer let that cycle take over my life. And I am stronger because of that. And I move quicker now in things because I know that God has truly ordained me to do certain things. And I don't have time to let that cycle hinder me anymore because I am so aware of it now. I see it before it's even coming. I don't spend lots of time crying anymore. I don't spend lots of time feeling sorry about things that I'm upset about anymore because I realize that time is so precious. So precious. So my time needs to be in progression and not in that negative cycle. So because I realize that, I no longer let those things plague me. So you have to be awake to the negative things in your life, the negative cycles in your life, so you can move forward, you can push forward, and you will be a better person, and you'll be on this earth doing exactly what you're meant to do. You are meant to do great things. You are meant to do wonderful things. You are created to do wonderful stuff. And no matter what your past says, your past does not dictate your future. Okay? You have to live in the present, learn from the past, live in the present, and let God create your future. Because God has put so much in you, and through whatever He has for you, I'm telling you, it's going to be so wonderful. So today, not tomorrow, we must stand up and say, this cycle is not going to continue. Now, there's another negative cycle that we fall in as women of God, and that's bad cycles in relationships, with letting people treat you certain ways that you don't deserve. Now, this cycle is a cycle of not loving yourself, not caring about yourself like you're supposed to be, not being at the place that God wants your self-esteem to be. So when you're not at that place you need to be, because of how you feel about yourself, you allow other people to treat you that way. You allow other people to treat you with how you feel about yourself. So if you think you're stupid, you allow people to treat you like you're stupid. If you think you're not worth anything, you let people treat you like you're worthless. If you think that you have no future, you will be reckless in your present. So I want you to think better about yourself. I want you to heighten your standards, rise it up, and then allow people to meet you there at your higher standards. And if they're meeting you down there, that is not good. You have to train them, teach them, or dismiss them if they don't understand. You hear? Because that cycle of letting people mistreat you, that holds you back. Because that works on you every day. Your self-esteem, your self-worth, when people treat you badly, because it's because of how you think about yourself. And that's why they are able to treat you a certain way. So you have to get it in yourself, who you are and what you are, which is great and wonderful, fearfully made, he says. And you have to really understand and not abuse yourself. Because when you abuse yourself, you let others tag along with you. So if you have things happening around your life and someone treating you less than what you should, look within yourself first and know that it starts with you and your thoughts about yourself and your treatment about yourself. Because if you had these good and high standards, it's because you love yourself. And that's what we need to do. We need to love ourselves and stop the cycle of self-hate. That is a cycle that will keep you paralyzed, and it won't make you whole. You need to be a whole woman of God on this earth to do what God has for you to do. That's why you need to be whole, because God desires everything that He made within inside you to be on this planet, on this earth, working. Because we are the kingdom of God. And if we're not affecting this world and bringing what God's kingdom on this earth, then we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, what we're put here to do. And we have to be whole to do it. And this is what we're working for tonight, to be whole so you can operate, so you can be the best mom you can be, so you can be the best wife you can be, the best auntie, friend, whatever your title is, to be the best you can be. Because when you're whole, you can minister to your children. You can teach them what you need to teach them because you have them for a certain period of time. So you don't have to create that cycle where you are only parenting part of the time. We need to parent 100% of the time. And sometimes parenting is sitting back and allowing yourself to take a rest. No one gets the best of you if you don't treat yourself the best, if you don't allow yourself time to heal from some things. So as a mother, I am telling you that you need to take care of yourself. You need to teach your children how to treat you and how to love you and respect you. That goes hand in hand. Your parenting has to be where you know that your children will be fine, even if, let me tell you, even if you don't always have to always be talking or telling them what to do. Sometimes you can take a break and have time for yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with making a plan, a schedule daily to have some time to yourself. And that helps you be the best parent you can be, because when you engage those children again, when you take time for yourself, see, and then you come back and engage your children, that makes you feel so refreshed and so happy. I don't know how many times where you tell your child, okay, go take a nap. Tell them, okay, go read a book. Let's just have some quiet time for a couple hours. And you decide what you're going to do in that quiet time, okay? And then when it's time for you guys to come back together again, then you're so appreciative of that time. Stop the cycle of trying to be superwoman in your parenting. You don't have to be superwoman. You have to balance your time. You don't have to be so consumed by all these things that you have to do where you miss the important things. The important things are the hugs, the smiles, the kisses on the cheek, the I love yous. You understand? Reading a book here and there, watching a movie with them, letting them help you cook. Stop the cycle of always wanting to every day be such busy with so many things that you don't take time out with your children. Superwoman does not mean that you have to do everything all the time for everyone else and not yourself. Now, let me tell you, as a parent, as a mother, let me tell you what a real superwoman is. A real superwoman knows how to schedule things and knows how to just back up and let God just have his way in that relationship. So you really gotta make up in your mind what kind of mother you want to be, because that cycle is so important that you can miss out on these small things in order to try to make these big events happen. Okay, because if you're in a cycle, you just gotta sit back and kind of watch out what is really fruitful in your life at that time, you know? So you have to stand still and interrupt the cycle. Number one, you have to see that the cycle is negative. Two, you have to understand why that cycle is negative. Number three, you have to know what is keeping you from that cycle stopping. Why are you continuing in that cycle? You know, you have to learn from that cycle. So once you learn why you are continuing in that cycle and you're allowing it to overtake your life, and there is a place where you are getting some fulfillment that is negative from that cycle. So you have to really understand where the negative place is in that cycle. Because say if it's a relationship, right, with a friend, and that friend's always criticizing you. And I believe that you're getting a negative from that is because you believe you need to be criticized, right? So why do you feel like you need to self-punish yourself? You know, I don't know why you feel that way, but you have to realize where is the start? You know, where is the start in the cycle? You know? And so once you figure out the start in this cycle, then it'll be easier to end it. You have to deal with your issues as they come and not just let them lie, you know, but you have to really deal with your issues. So we go through a lot of things over and over that are messy, you know, and things around us, but we have to know how to work our way through it healthy, you know, and be healthy. And you have to learn from it and do something different. See, if you don't do anything different, you'll keep going through your cycle. Don't be afraid of the unknown, because that's how you stop the cycle, is learning what, you know, what you are afraid of and being able to face that fear. Because the unknown, there's beautiful things in it, because you find knowledge in the unknown. If you're just staying at the same level at your same cycle with different things in your life, you're never learning. So how are you going to learn if you don't stop and allow yourself to do certain things that you are afraid of? Those things, the unknown things, then you are able to learn. Okay, so new knowledges, new challenges breaks the cycle, and it makes you have progression in your life. You only progress if, you know, if you're going to another level, right? So you're not going to go to another level if you're doing the same things over and over. So you must stop it by doing something different. You must take the knowledge that you're learning and apply it to your life and create wisdom in your life. And so cycles keep you from advancing in your life because you're always doing the same thing and you're afraid, you know. So why do you repeat the cycle over and over? Because you are uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable. The cycle is familiar, and the lack of knowledge that you don't know what's out there. So because you are afraid and you're in your fear and you don't know what's out there, you just stay in your same cycle with the same people, things, you know, never trying anything new, never going further, never going further where God wants you to go, because He wants you to continue growing and moving, but you don't grow in the same cycle. You just actually hurt yourself over and over. And so this is your time. The time is up for the cycle that you're currently in. The cycle that you're in right now, that you're sitting in, is up. So what's more, you have to escape that cycle. And God always has a way of escape. And don't use God as a scapegoat either. Because me personally, I always used to say, well, God needs to open some doors for me. I need certain things in place before I can do that. God can't bless me because I need to be closer to Him. So all these things were scapegoats. Always put my lack of progression on God, right? So I always put my lack of progression on Him. So I couldn't unlock certain doors, unlock that door. So I couldn't unlock certain doors, in my life because, oh, God said it wasn't time. But really, it was just an excuse. I was using God as an excuse, like, because, well, what was going on in my relationship with him, and that's why I couldn't do certain things. But God gave me the power to make certain choices and have certain dominion and to get myself in position, right? God did that. And so I wasn't using the keys that God gave me. I was sitting on my keys and pointing to God, saying, God, I can't do this because of this and this and this. But God already gave me the key to get closer to him, the key to get in position for my blessing. But I wasn't doing that. I was just sitting back being passive. You can't be progressive when you're so passive and just letting things overtake you and just allowing yourself to continue in that cycle. If you want true change, you got to break that cycle and move forward in your progression. Okay. But no, that was all excuses not to move, to do anything, and not to live how I truly need to live. So I would say things like God's will, when I really needed to say was, let me get out of this cycle. Let me learn something new. Let me grow as a person. That's God's will for my life, for me to move forward in what he's called me to do, right? Not to sit back and wait for some magical time, be a procrastinator. In every area of your life, you have to apply progression. God has given us certain control over our lives to grow and become whole in him. The control is not saying that you don't listen and yield to God and submit to his will, but he's given us control in order to proceed with what he's given us. It's our choice what we do with what he's given us, correct? He's given us all that we need within inside us, but we have to choose what we're going to do with it. We can't just sit on it. It's just like burying our talents in the ground. Nothing's going to multiply if you just bury it. If you just continue in the same way, if you just continue living paycheck to paycheck and don't create any gaps in between where if something happens, you have something to fall back on. Why are you living paycheck to paycheck? All those negative cycles. I can go on and on because your negative cycle of living paycheck to paycheck because maybe you're living beneath over your means, living above your means. That's the word I'm looking for. Maybe you're trying to keep up with somebody by, buying this, buying that, maybe you just feel insecure about certain things, so you need to purchase things. You need to figure out why the bad cycle's there and how to decide to, how to be delivered from that and decide to get out of that cycle. There can be so many things in your life, within money, within your parenting, within your relationship with your husband, and your friends, whatever it may be, you have to acknowledge that it's there, and just understand that it's not progression if you're going round and round. So because we are on this earth, we need to be whole for the kingdom building. That progression can bring back, that progression can bring good cycles to you, right? Cycles where you can be whole and complete in them. And once you go round in that good cycle, you're done, you get off, and then you do another good cycle. See, good cycles are progression because you're going forward in the ring. You're not just staying back and going round and round, but you're going forward and you're going round and round. That is good progression because you know when to go off the progression, the cycle. When things are complete in your life. Because what happens is you learn in that cycle and you move forward. You learn, you move forward, you gather things, you gather knowledge in order to continue on in life. So because you have gathered that knowledge in life, you can be elevated. And that's what a good cycle does for you. So you know what good cycles are. When you go through something and you learn from it and you continue on, and it takes you to that next level. But you just don't keep going round and round. You get off when you need to get off, because God is in that cycle, because it's a cycle to teach you. It's like a season. You're not hitting a dead end. You're not continuing getting busy, not being able to see. Because when you go round and round, you are dizzy, right? And you're not able to see. So this cycle doesn't make you dizzy. This cycle is a cycle of clarity. It's a time period where you do a certain thing. And then after that, you are wiser for it, right? Yeah. So round and round, going nowhere, not going forward. That's what we do. It's time to move forward in life and to do what you are truly meant to do. So what do you need to do? You need to go be a better wife. You need to go be a better mother. Go be a better friend. Be a better what God made you to be. Understand? Whatever He made you to be, He's ready for you to take that to the next level. He's ready for you to have change in your life. It's time for us to move forward. It's time for us not to sit anymore on the sidelines and our same cycles, not with any change and not moving forward. It's time for us to truly say, I'm ready to step into where I need to be in life. I'm not just going to watch people do things and wish I could do them. I see somebody on the TV and they're making a change in this world. But I'm sitting here not realizing what I'm here to do. I hear something on the radio and I hear that they're making a change in this world and they're so passionate about it. What am I passionate about? What are you passionate about? Are we doing it? Are we being about it? That's what we need to be today. We need to be about it and do it, because that's what God has for us. And that's what's important. When everything else crumbles around you, all the negativity, all that's left is your calling. Long as you're breathing, you have a calling, and God's not done with you. And sometimes things have to be adjusted, and we go through different stages in our lives. And sometimes one calling ceases and another one opens up. We have to be open, and we have to walk a life of progression with God. And so it's just very important. So I'm just here to encourage you and let you know that I'm here. And I hope these words that came out of my mouth were very encouraging, that you can stand up and feel like you can conquer the world, and you can follow what you truly are here to do. Follow it to the T, because that's the best for you. That's the most gratifying life you can have, is the life with your purpose, whatever your destiny is, in your career, in your walk, in your motherhood, in your being a wife. Just love those things that have been put around you. Progression. Learn how to teach those kids the way you need to teach them. Love them the way you need to love them. Cherish the times you have, instead of looking at those kids as nuisance or bothering you or always being a distraction in your life. Embrace them for the time that you have with them. Move forward. Teach them what you have learned in life, and they will grasp it right away, maybe right away. But you always want to pull back. When you learn something new in life and you learn how to move forward, you have to take it in your hand. You have to look at it and then take your hand, bring it back, and pull somebody else forward in life. Okay? So as you walk your life of progression and get off your cycle, help somebody else along the way. Like my video, let people know about my video. It's time for progression, and it's time for bad cycles to cease in our lives, ladies. I love you so much, and just continue to check me out on Mondays and Fridays live on YouTube. I love you, and you be blessed.